Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Facebook has crashed hard. Losses of $71 billion.
Why did investors react so violently to this earnings report? And do you think this is a stock-specific problem, or is it a warning for all ad-supported tech companies?
So I think the business model is broken at Facebook. What Mark Zuckerberg said is there are two things negatively affecting its revenue. One is the competition from TikTok, which is taking its younger users in terms of time spent. And secondly, the privacy upgrades over at Apple iOS is really hurting Facebook's ability to target. Couple those revenue pressures, downward revenue pressures, with 7 areas of investment spending, including the metaverse, means that the business model, not only are we lowering all of our estimates for revenue growth, we're also even more dramatically lowering our EPS and EBITDA profitability margin estimates.
I want to talk about some of the levers that he might be able to pull to rescue this, but I want to ask you about something. You made a reference in your recent report to brand risk. And we recently had Eric Schmidt on the show who pointed out that some of these companies are using algorithms to amplify outrage as a way of getting engagement that's worked really well. But look, it means also spreading disinformation. Could this finally catch up with them?
Yes, I think but Mark Zuckerberg personally and Facebook generally have sustained billions of dollars of brand risk, I would say, or downward brand franchise. And I think when he talks about the metaverse and wanting to create Oculus to replace Apple, that really scares consumers because, Apple is sort of a justifiable steward of consumers. The idea of the Oculus headset under Facebook's watch replacing the Apple ecosystem, I think, is really scary to a lot of consumers.
However, despite meteor growth over the last decade, right now, today, Facebook is facing a litany of challenges. Their stock price has crashed, taking Mark Zuckerberg's personal net worth down by about $71 billion in the process. They're poised to lay off literally thousands of employees in the coming week. Their metaverse product is being used by hardly anyone. And just last week, Meta, which is of course Facebook's parent company, was hit with the largest campaign finance violation in American history. And it's that last point that I really want to highlight, given the fact that the midterm elections are quite literally tomorrow. Now, to start with, the political leanings of Facebook employees are not really a secret. For instance, if we take a look at the previous midterm election and examine the political donations that were made by Facebook employees, we will find that they overwhelmingly went to Democrats by a margin of about 95%. And just as an aside, Twitter employees gave almost 99% of their political contributions to Democrats as well. Just keep that in mind when people say that Elon Musk will destroy the ideological diversity that exists within the company. Regardless, though, getting back to this giant campaign violation, what happened was that back in 2018, the Attorney General of Washington State filed a lawsuit against Meta. That lawsuit centered around Facebook's violation of the Fair Campaign Practices Act, which was passed in Washington State back in 1972. Under that law, all companies that sell political advertising, companies such as newspapers, TV stations, and social media platforms, they are required to disclose the names and addresses of those who buy political ads, who those ads are actually targeting, how the ads were paid for, as well as the total number of views that those ads received. And they have to disclose this information to anyone who requests it. And the thinking behind this particular law is twofold. First of all, it allows people to analyze as well as track the spending of political campaigns in order to make sure that those funds are being used properly. And then second of all, this transparency requirement allows people to see whether media companies and or social media platforms are charging Democrats and Republicans the same amount of money for the same amount of airtime. Because without this transparency, who's to say that a media company, or perhaps in this case Facebook, is not charging Republican advertisers, let's say, 3 times the rate of their Democrat opponents? If the books aren't open, we would just never know. And indeed, back in
up front, and I take full responsibility for this decision. I'm the founder and CEO. I'm responsible for the health of our company, for our direction, and for deciding how we execute that, including things like this. And this was ultimately my call, and it was one of the hardest calls that I've had to make in the 18 years of running the company. And a lot of why it's hard is, obviously it has a big impact on your lives, but also for our mission, we're losing people who you've really put your heart and soul into this place, and each of you is talented and passionate, and each of you has played a role in making Meta the success that it is. And no matter what team you may have worked on, each of you played a role in contributing to the products that.
Yeah. Sorry there, Marky Mark. Looks like you bit off a little bit more than you can chew. Trying to compete with Apple, Meta, well, whatever happens, who knows. Please like and share this video. Stay tuned for more right here on Divided USA, where you'll always get it real and raw every time. Please subscribe, like, and share.